Hey everybody, welcome back to Code a Responsive Website with Bootstrap 3. This video is called Coding the Callout. On the final website, the callout is this big section right here. It's within what is called a well, this little shadowed gray part right here. It looks like it's carved in a little bit on the website. That is a Bootstrap class called well. And this big section I'm calling the big callout because it seems like a really big call to action. It gets you to read something, learn a little bit of something, and then click a big button. This could be used for, say, on like a sign-up page. You have the name of your product, a little bit about it, why you want to buy it, and then buy it right now. Or if you're just wanting to learn a little bit more, you can click on this rather than committing to buying it. That's kind of what the idea behind this little section is. So we're going to code the HTML for that, and it's so easy, it's going to be funny. So go to your code editor, and go down to the big callout section, the idea of big callout. Within our big callout, let's start coding some stuff. All right, first up, we're going to, since we're inside of a row, a Bootstrap CSS row, we're going to add a column. Div, close that div and give it the class, the class of call-12. This is going to be a 12 column section. So it spans the full width of the website rather than just half of it or a third of it or a quarter or an eighth or whatever. It's a full width. So that's what this is. End call 12 so we can see where the ending div is. Within there, let's add the well. So div class well, and that div. And within there, let's give a div with the class of page-header. And this is a Bootstrap 3. This isn't something I made up. These classes I'm adding are actual Bootstrap 3 classes. They're in the Bootstrap CSS that's included in the download. So when you add this class, it already adds styles to it, so everything looks good. You don't have to do any extra CSS. That's why Bootstrap, coding websites with Bootstrap is so fast. And page header. Within our page header, we're going to put a level 1 heading. And say a fancy header. And if you remember, within that level 1 heading, there was a subheader. And what's really cool about Bootstrap is all you need to do to get that sort of style is add a small tag within your heading. It could be any heading, H1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Add a small tag within the header tag and put your subheader text. Subheader for extra awesome. Save. So let's see what that looks like. So there's our well. And here is our header with our subheader. Let's keep going. Outside of the page header, because that was the page header, let's add a paragraph tag with the class of lead. Remember to close that paragraph tag. And within there, we're just going to write some text. So I'm just going to write some solid leading copy will help get your users engaged. Use this area to come up with something real nice. Know what I'm saying? There we go. Something, just whip that together real quick. Now if I refresh that and check it out, there is the leading copy. So the reason why I give that paragraph text the class of lead is because it's leading text, and that is a Bootstrap 3 class that makes your otherwise boring, normal-sized paragraph to some larger, to a larger font size, so it stands out a little bit more than just a normal paragraph. For example, if I just went like this and just added some lorem ipsum in there, this is a normal paragraph. This is a leading paragraph. That's what the class of lead does. This is just standard, so you could see how that makes the big callout a little bit cooler. Alright, next we're going to add those buttons. So under the paragraph tag, let's add an A, the href of nothing, because we don't have any links for that now. But if you have links, you can put them in there. Class. Let's actually close this A tag so we don't forget. All right, so to access the Bootstrap button styles, we're going to add the btn class, and we're going to make it a large button. So btn-large. So this means I want a button, and I want that button to be large. And I want that button's color to be the primary color. Button primary. And this is all Bootstrap 3 CSS classes. So if you're reading the Bootstrap 3 documentation on the getbootstrap.com website under CSS, if you click on buttons, you'll see all of the styles available to you for the buttons. And it's so easy to add a super nice button. So click a nice big button. Save that. Let's check it out. Look at that. Just like that. I added a nice button with all the states. It has normal state, hover state, active state. Look at that. So that took me all but 30 seconds, and it would have been quicker had I not been talking the whole time. So that's how fast Bootstrap is at adding buttons. So I'm going to add another button. Copy and paste that, but I don't want it to be a primary button. I want it to be a button link. And I want that link to be saying or a secondary link. Save, go back, refresh. There's your button link. Look at that. This was the easiest thing ever. So there's your call out. All right, so we're not done yet. There are still some cool little secret things that we need to add here. I'm going to show you a really cool thing with Bootstrap. Let's see. This is the final website. If I were to resize here, and then I get to the mobile size, right here, a new button pops up. Give us a call. So we're going to add that right now, and it's so easy. You're going to laugh at it. You probably won't laugh at it though, but check it out. Okay, so in the top of the button call out, right above the well, let's add a div. Give it the class of well. We're going to add another well, and this is going to be a small well, so a Bootstrap class for well. You can add more classes to this to change how the style looks. So well and well dash small. So I want it to be a smaller well, meaning I don't want as much padding around the content. And visible SM. This means visible small. This means show this element only on small devices. So you won't see this element anywhere on any device if it's not a small. So small meaning there are obviously some parameters that define what small is, and Bootstrap has it on their website. And CSS, I believe, responsive utilities, visible small. You could see here the class visible small, small devices up to 768 pixels. It's visible and hidden on medium and large devices. There are also some more responsive helper classes, which is visible MD for medium, visible LG for large, and you can see how they work here. Hidden small, hidden medium, and hidden large. So this is really cool. It helps you add a little bit of responsive awesomeness to your website just by using a couple of responsive classes. So we're going to use the visible small class to make that button work. So we have visible small. So this element's only going to show up on devices that are no larger than 768 pixels wide. All right, within this div, let's end well small so we know. Okay, so within this well, we're going to add an A, href of nothing for now, class button, button large, button block. So this is going to make this button a block level element, meaning it's going to be, it's going to span the full width of its parent element. So because the parent element is 12 columns, the full width of the website, this button's going to be the full width. It's going to be a big, big button. So that's what button block does. Button default, meaning the default color for the button, which is a dark gray. Close that A tag. Within the A tag, let's add a span. We're going to add a glyph icon. Remember those? Class, glyph, icon, glyph, icon dash, phone. Close that span tag and give a little space there so there's some space between the text and the icon. Give us a call. Save that. Watch this. Go back to your website. Refresh. Shrink your website to mobile size. There it is. Look at that. Look how good that is. Okay, we're not done yet. We're going to add one more cool thing. In this final website, if I clicked on a nice big button, I get a cool alert box. So we're going to add that in there, but we're going to save the jQuery to the next lecture. So let's just start by adding this this alert box. Go back to your HTML. And above your mobile specific well, let's actually add a class here, or sorry, a comment, visible only on small devices. Let's add a div, give it the class of alert. This is a Bootstrap class. And also give it additional classes to be more specific with these alerts. Alert-success, alert-block, fade, and in. I know this seems confusing, but it's just they're default Bootstrap classes. And if you were to go to the Bootstrap website and click on, I believe, components and alerts, you can see you could just add an alert by giving it the class of alert, or you can be more specific: alert, alert danger, alert success, alert info. And there's a lot more here. However, if you're wanting to use a little bit of jQuery to make it pop up and fade in and do all this stuff, these are extra helper classes, fade and in, which allows you to get that cool effect. When you click that button, and the alert will fade in. I'll show you. The alert will fade in. And then if I close this, it'll go away. It'll fade out. And I get that by adding those CSS classes fade and in. You don't have to add them, but all it will do is just pop in, and then when you close it, it'll just pop back out. So this just makes it look a little bit more smooth. Okay, end alert. Okay, within that alert, let's actually first give it the ID of success alert. And let's add a button. The type will be button, class close, data dismiss equals alert. So this is a Bootstrap 3 attribute for this button, and it will dismiss. When you click on this button, it will dismiss or close the alert box. So it calls some JavaScript. You don't even have to do anything extra to make it do that. So let's, within this button, ampersand times. This is supposed to give it a little X. Close that button. Save. Go down below that. Level 4 heading. Let's say success. And a paragraph tag. You just made this element display by using jQuery. Now you actually didn't make it show by using jQuery yet, because right now it's just going to show up by default because we haven't done any jQuery. Click the X in the top right corner to close this bad boy. Save. Okay, so now let's check out to see what that alert looks like. Refresh. The alert shows up. So it's there, but we don't want it to just be there by default. However, if you did click this, it will fade out. But that's just because Bootstrap has default functionality when you click on the data dismiss close icon. So that is it for the HTML for the big callout. There's still some work we have to do for the callout. We need to do some CSS, and we need to use some jQuery to make this actually function the way we want it to. So I'm going to save that for the next couple lectures. So in the next one, we're going to do a little bit of CSS to tighten this up and make it look a little bit better. There are a few bugs that I don't like. So see you there, my friends.